Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Albion. When last we left off, we were just exploring around this back area of the council building so that we could completely fill in the map. And before we go and see who we're going to recruit, we're going to go and rest for a little while anyway. And by rest I mean wait, because we want to go to the armor smith, who's over here. But the armor smith won't be open for a few hours yet. There we go. And even though we're exceptionally early, there always tends to be at least one person in here before us. There we go. We want to buy some items. First we want to sell this because we are not going to be doing anything with that. And we also want to sell this because we're not going to be doing anything with that at all. What we are going to be doing, however, is we're going to be selling all of our helmets. The reason being is that we can actually buy better helmets. These helmets are pretty good, and they don't confer any negatives whatsoever to anyone's fighting abilities. And I'm a little bit surprised I didn't remember that, because that's a really useful thing to know. Also, we're now a little bit broke. But that's alright, because it's better we do this now than later. There we go. We don't need to buy anything else for anybody. I think we pretty much got all of the things that we need. There we go. Yeah, we have all the items we're going to be giving over to Khunag, with the exception of, I think we want to sell that axe, because we're not going to be giving that axe to anybody whatsoever. We still have about 1,350 gold, which isn't terrible, however, it's also not exactly the best either. There we go. What we want to do is we want to leave here, and we want to go and talk to Khunag, because we're going to be recruiting Khunag, much like how we did the first time round. There is a difference, however. This time I'm going to be considering replacing Dre with Siobhan later on. But the fact that we have to take Khunag with us, at least at some point, pretty much spurred on my decision to take Khunag again, at least at this point. Later on we can switch up the party and see how it does. But for now, we're going to completely fail to navigate around here and talk to Khunag. Schema Din, you are speaking with Khunag. What do you want from me? I don't like to be disturbed, unless it's for something important. It sounds like Khunag is practicing for his voicemail there, but he is being serious. He doesn't like being disturbed. What's your profession? I'm a magician of the Kingad Kumulos, but I've distanced myself from them, and now I am living my own. Let's talk about important, shall we? What do you want to talk to me about? Can you provide us with worthwhile information? No, why should I? Well, that's a good point. Let's ask him if he can train us in magic. We're looking for a trainer. Then look further. I am not a trainer. Oh. Let's ask him about the situation in terms of politics. What do you think of the political situation in this area? I don't see any big problem. Occasional disagreements are perfectly normal. Or do you have another definition of problems? And now we're going to ask the one thing that makes any difference. You look like a scholar of magic. Well observed. I don't want to hide the fact that I am really a magician, but those times are long gone. However, my magical abilities are better now than they've ever been. Why are you so interested in that? We could use someone with your abilities on our journey. What kind of journey are you on, then? Well... So Tom tells about the most important points of the journey up till now, and the future goals. It would be interesting to see this mother ship. I would join you, at least for a short time, if you would like me to. Well, first we would like to know a bit more about you. You don't have to know everything about me. I was raised here, and then spent a certain amount of time with the Kingad Kumulos. My magic abilities come from that time. For a while now I've been living my own life here, and can do what I want. Naturally, I can help you with my magic if I come along. Well, if you like, you can come along with us. Good. I'll come with you. And with that, Khunag has joined the party. Khunag is a 37-year-old Kingad Kumulos of the Okula Kumulos class and is level 8. He has 18 out of 24 life points, 40 out of 40 spell points, 900 experience, and a whopping 32 training points. It is safe to say that when we get the opportunity, Khunag is going to get a lot of training. Khunag has 35 out of 60 strength, 60 out of 90 intelligence, 20 out of 40 dexterity, and only 20 out of 70 speed. It's safe to say that Khunag is not going to be doing any actions first in the initiative. 30 out of 55 stamina is okay, 5 out of 25 luck, and 12 out of 40 magic resistance. He does, however, have a whopping 99 out of 99 magic talent, which is amazing. He has 35 out of 50 close range combat, which is quite good, and 12 out of 30 long range, which is not so good. He definitely has a focus on melee combat. 0 out of 6 critical hit, and 20 out of 40 lockpicking. It's also time to sort out the ordering here of combat. I think we actually want to switch things up a bit and have people positioned like that, because I think this way confers a nice amount of protection for all of the party. Also, we want to give Khunag some equipment here, and I have completely forgot to buy him any armor whatsoever. He most certainly does need some chainmail, because that chainmail is certainly going to help him out. At a random point, I think he only speaks Celtic. Yeah, he only does speak Celtic. There we go, we'll just switch all of this out, and then we'll quickly rush back and go and buy him a suit of light chainmail. I think that's where all the remainder of my money is going to be spent. Well, we could buy the heavy chainmail, but I don't see any need to encumber anyone with that just right now. Then again, it is a really nice suit of armor. I don't think, however, the protection difference is that much, considering how much you spend on it. But then again, that's pretty much how armor is in most games. You spend a small amount of money at the beginning to get a fair amount of armor, and then the increases become far less for the amount of money you spend. Here we go, and we'll get rid of a few items that Khunag has, this leather vest here, and the pair of shoes. There we go. And now we'll buy this, see, this is about over twice the price, and confers 11 protection as opposed to 9. You're spending a lot of money on 2 more points, which is not that great. There we go, 25 protection stat. That's actually really impressive, but not as impressive, I might add, as Melthus, who now has, I think, 32. We'll actually swap you guys. Actually, no, we'll keep you there, because that is a non-exposed flank, so to speak, whereas that one is. And if anything, we want people with high protection stats to be in the exposed area. We could do a little bit of curing here, just to get Khunag up to full health. There we go, much better. And now we're going to go and visit where Siobhan lives, because if there's one thing we need to do, it's get a little bit of combat experience under our belts now that we have Khunag with us. And there is a good opportunity to do so in the form of all the encounters down here in the cellar. Like this one. Hello, Skrinn 2, how are you? You are going to die absolutely horribly, because you're just a Skrinn 2. So long, Skrinn 2, and you're going to park yourself pretty much right there. I thought you might, but there's no real way to protect the party with the setup as it is. If we had Siobhan with us, this would be a lot easier, but we don't. So instead, we're just going to have to hope that we can take care of everything here. The other advantage as well is having it set up like this means that we can better protect what's to come. Also, we are most certainly going to save here, because this fight, if memory serves, is a bit of a surprise, as in it is extremely challenging. Why, what is in the basement here? Maybe 1 or 2 warnakes? No. How about that? That really puts into perspective how hardcore that small child was in saying that he'd be able to deal with all of this. Being able to deal with all of this is quite frankly nuts. Also, we want to use a small fireball here. Khunag starts with a few nice spells. There is a Thunderbolt one here that deals damage to a whole row. And then there is Fire Rain, which also deals damage to a whole row. We shall use Fire Rain here, and we shall now see what a small amount of spellcasters can do. The answer is a lot, because Frost Avalanche is being used, and Frost Avalanche is a really good spell. The fact that Dra is set up where he is pretty much prevents all these Warnick 3s from moving towards the more vulnerable people in the party, with the exception of that one that's moved forward. However, the Frost Avalanche here will deal damage to absolutely every enemy, and freeze all of them, which is good. And then we're going to get Fire Rain. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it does deal damage to a whole row's worth of people. Right, the next thing we want to do is we want to focus some damage on this one here. We don't want to use another of the Fire Rains. We want to instead start pelting fireballs pretty much at that one over there, so that that one is pretty much obliterated. And I think that's pretty good. There we go, a little bit more damage that way. That's one dealt with. We need to take care of the Warnig 3s as quickly as possible. And that's why, because now they can all move, and the fact that they can all move is kind of bad. We could use another Frost Avalanche, but I'm actually going to save that, and instead focus our attacks on dealing with the ones that are nearby. Mainly this one here. I think we'll use that there, and we'll have a range attack focus on this one. There we go, a nice mixture of attacks there to ensure that, actually I think you can focus there instead. One down, and now we've got to hope that these Warnig 3s don't do anything too nasty. The Warnig 2s we can pretty much deal with. There we go. A nice focus on the attacks here to make sure that all of them are used in a very useful manner. And as you can see now, Malthus is being attacked in melee, but that really shouldn't be a huge problem. And I think we'll have you just start shooting there, because I don't think we're really going to need Khunag for anything now. There we go. Oh wow, you didn't kill that Warnig too. That is a bit surprising. However, there are now only Warnig 2s remaining, and we're really not that worried about them. We can pretty much handle Warnig 2s. There we go, we'll just have some focused attacks here, like that, and I think we've pretty much won this one. We just need to be very, very careful now. There will be a fair amount of experience here. A fair amount of it. There we go, there's just a few left, and we might as well just have you attack while we're here. Drur can't get into this combat at all, so we'll just wait. Every round, however, that we spend attacking is another round that there is a possibility something will break, or someone will get afflicted with something. We could start using some ranged attacks here. I think that's a good idea. There we go, one dealt with, and now there's only 2 left, and neither of them want to... what is that status effect? Is that panicked or is that ill? That is panicking, that's fine. We want to deal with this combat pretty much now before Khunag retreats, because if Khunag retreats, then we pretty much don't have any chance of... Can we deal with that? Is there a way to deal with that? No, there isn't. We can't remove panic, so that's not great. But we should hopefully be able to prevent him from running. Oh no, he has indeed fled. There's not much we can do about that, so he won't get any experience from this, and it was a not too unimpressive amount. I'd have hoped that he'd have stayed, but that is something that can happen, which is unfortunate. There is, however, one more encounter down there that we need to be very, very careful of. A little bit of healing here, and I think we're ready for it. Hello! This is a very tricky one. It is quite literally just a bunch of Warnig 3s, which is not good. A single Warnig 2 back there, by the way. Just one. Just one. Now, we don't know where any of the attacks are coming, so what we want to do is we want to most certainly Frost Avalanche here. Only one enemy is able to attack, so we'll just wait, I think. There we go, one dealt with, and now they've all moved into good positions so that we can obliterate them. And every time we use this, it gets that little bit better. We definitely want to rest, though, before we decide to move out into the world beyond now, because we have a minor issue in the fact that we have enemies that need defeating. This should probably be quite easy to deal with some of them. However, one of these we most certainly want to keep frozen, so there is going to be a Frost Splinter cast here. In fact, I don't even know why I'm using the attack there. We might as well just use Fireballs, as they're far more reliable. There we go. Fireballs will pretty much take care of this scenario for us. There we go, one dealt with. And that one is still going to be frozen. Specifically that one. Fireballs will certainly help here. There we go. That was the plan, to deal with that one before that one became a huge threat. And then we'll use more fireballs. If in doubt, use more fireballs. Use all the fireballs that you possibly can. And we'll move you over here. We might as well have you attack while we can. There we go. And I think that will, yep, pretty much take care of that one. And now we have just one more to worry about, that I'm pretty sure if we advance the party, is pretty much doomed. There we go. One encounter dealt with. Maybe. Go on, Rainer. Oh, you missed. Now we'll just have to let Drer handle it. There we go. Much better. Everyone gained a small amount of experience, and we most certainly want to sell all of these things that we just got. I don't think there's anything... Ooh, there is! There was 34 gold in here. I'm not sure that was actually worth doing all this fighting for, but hey, 34 gold is not a bad thing whatsoever. Anything else worth getting? No? No, I don't think there was. But hey, 34 gold? Not bad. Maybe we could inform them that everyone is getting tired. Well, that's handy, because we're going to be going and resting soon. Maybe we could inform them that we've dealt with the situation. Nope, we can't inform them there, and we can't inform them there either. Oh well, we've dealt with it, and we don't really need a reward. So we're just going to go and get rid of some of the things that we have in our possession. Mainly up here in the general store. There we go. Let's go and sell these things. There's not a lot of room here, but of all the things that we could sell, this is most certainly one of the things we do want to sell. That's not too bad. 50 or so gold. Pretty nice. There we go. There are a lot of these, and they are quite cheap. I'm actually tempted to buy some. Do we have any of them lying around? We have 4. If you were to buy, say, how much do they actually weigh? That's a good question. They weigh 300, so if we were to buy, say, 6 of them. There we go, 30 coins, and that is some mana in bottles, which is very handy. There we go, we'll just head out here and go and rest. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think it's this side that yes, the hotel there that we want to go to. The hotel means that we'll be able to rest and recuperate in preparation for heading out into the wilderness beyond. We could actually wait until it is dark for us to go and rest. That's actually a quite good idea, because, also, why did I decide to go that way? Because, we could just go this way instead. I was about to head upwards when we don't need to. By waiting until it's dark, we can then, go out when it's light. Also, because we now have another person in our party, it costs a little bit more to go and rest, which is fine. I think we have a pretty good setup here, although it's going to take a little bit of time for Khunag to go into the same sort of level that the rest of the party is. There is one more thing we need to do before we leave, and that is to go back and talk to the person that was in the house that Khunag was recruited from. This is a very important thing to do, so we're going to go and do that right now. It actually kind of triggers the main plot of this area. Where are you? You're somewhere around here. There you are, hello. Schemadin, Karaya greets you. I believe I have important information for you. Perhaps you can do the city a great service. Are you ready to help? Yes. Well, where will I begin? I work in a brothel, and from time to time I get customers who, play an important role in our society. Many entrust me with information I really don't want to know, and is not intended for public ears. Naturally, I would put myself in danger if I pass on that kind of information, but this is so important that I'm willing to take the risk. Specifically, it concerns Guard and Rico. They are members of the Council of the Just, and they do not act for, but against our community. Their own prosperity is more important to them. They are greedy, and strive for power and wealth. You are experienced in battle. You can overthrow and kill them. The city is sure to thank you for it, believe me. You put that a little too simply, dear Karaya. We don't have proof that any of this is true, and besides, this was all told to you in the throes of passion. I'm sure you won't reveal your source, and that's understandable. If you did, you will put yourself in great danger, especially if everything that you have told us is true. We simply cannot act against Guard and Rico. Using which law? For what reason? We cannot simply get rid of them, and killing them is completely out of the question. We're sorry we can't do anything more for you, but we will try to find out more about Guard and Rico. We will try to keep you up to date. Maybe I'm too panicky, but believe me, the secrets my customers tell me at night are almost always true, and I believe we all have reason for concern. Please don't forget about all this, and visit me again. We could, ask about important? Is that what we want to talk about? No, there is something we most certainly do want to ask her now. Do we ask her about Guard? No, we can't ask about that, but there is something that we most certainly need to ask about before we leave, and that will come next time, folks. For when we come back, we shall continue talking to Karaya, and then we'll figure out exactly what we need to do. I think it does involve going to Kurnos, which is somewhere that we'll have to visit anyway, so I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.